The sun came up this morning.
Tomorrow.
BFD.
No, it didn't.
It didn't come up, actually.
Hey,
Not
the
at all.
papers were right there. No, they were late again.
Oh, mine were there.
I feel
Okay.
safer. No, I don't. I don't think fraud will ever take place again.
Hold on, you're going to just get a bunch of these.
We don't know that.
A bunch.
Because we're drilling more. Gas prices are. No,
We don't know that.
no, that's not the case. Boy, it was a shellacking, huh, fellas?
Mm-hmm.
It was
Minnesota is
weird
now
night.
governed by the DFL in the House, the Senate, and the governor's office.
Mhm.
Keith Ellison won. Julie Block. No Republican won a state office. Angie Craig beat Tyler Kistner. Betty McCollum's going back for her 150th year. Nothing's going to change here.
Oh,
well,
but in
absolute-
positive news, Mary Moriarty's going to be running things.
Mary Moriarty
Whatever the
won
hell her name
Hennepin
is.
County attorney.
So we got that going
I
for
got a
us.
lot of emails from people who were all sharing similar sentiments. Sanibel Jim, bad morning. Red tide was always a blight whenever it turned up off the shores of Sanibel Island.
Yeah.
But today that red tide is a pink puddle and might be gone by noon. As I have said many times, these election results are not a fluke. I have a theory. I'll give you a great theory today. Are not a fluke. They are the philosophical preference of most voters today. Socialism and its benefits to those who seek free money from the government is the desire. The Democrats could run Pinocchio from his basement and put out negative ads emphasizing free stuff, race, and class warfare, and it would win. Well, wait a minute. They did twice. The left will ruin Walker in a Georgia runoff if it gets that far. Our red wave is a pink puddle, and I can't really claim that I can believe that Herschel Walker would have been a good Senate candidate. Okay, I mean, I have to remain somewhat true to myself. The guy had been hit on the head way too often. I bet he has CTE, something fierce. I'm not being facetious. We are doomed. When I started signing my emails back a few years ago with doomed, I was hoping otherwise. We are now officially doomed, Sanibel Jim. I will address the doom part here in a moment. This is from Scott from Inver Grove. As I noted in my email to you yesterday, I was very guarded about becoming optimistic about throwing out the Walz, Ellison, and Craig. As I awoke this morning, my tepid optimism turned to stark reality. You betcha the red wave did not happen in the People's Republic of Minnesota. Well, did anybody really think it would? As a majority of government handout takers and MAGA Democrats, make abortion great again, voted to not only continue the misery we are feeling, but intensifying it into the future. The statement, "it's over," should resonate ever so painfully today, as it is truly over. If we couldn't get these tyrants out of office, given the economy, inflation, crime, and all the other elements we are living with, it will never happen. It has been my belief that the left has patiently indoctrinated the younger generations to vote for them. I'll have more about that in a moment. Scott from Inver Grove, never afraid and pushing back. He's right. Rick Anderson, recently we went to Florida to be snowbirds for the first time. We are getting the full initiation as we await for Nicole to make her pass through the area we are residing. We have prepared our RV as best we can. We have a bug out plan in place and a safer haven in place. When I got up this morning and finished checking the election results, I found myself wanting to research how to change my residency to Florida. The number of people who think Walz, Ellison, and Omar are the ones. Omar got the highest percentage of votes of any candidate in the country.
May I add something?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you had said this a few weeks ago. I didn't even realize she was running because she ran 0 ads.
She didn't have to.
Because she didn't have to.
Dealing with the coming hurricane is more attractive than another 4 years of the elected leadership in Minnesota. While it's hard to keep pushing back when the wall doesn't move, we have to keep pushing. Rick is from Forest Lake in Silver Springs, Florida. He's our cystic fibrosis guy.
Oh yeah, I remember Rick.
Yeah.
What was it? What was it in Florida?
Silver Springs.
Silver. I gotta look that up.
What's this one? Okay, I have a theory.
Ooh.
There is no election fraud. I don't think there needs to be. I don't think there has been. And I'm being deadly serious. The voting can be explained thusly. The voting has been extended to before and to mail in and to what have you in order to encourage more people who have no idea what they're doing to vote. And I'm going to play off an emailer, Rick, who writes, Joe, I had a thought about what you were struggling with yesterday about what is going on with voting. In the past, the only people voting were informed people who knew who, what, where, and why they were voting. Today, there is a push from every angle for every single American to go out and vote. From celebrities to teachers to politicians, they are all pushing for everyone to vote. I believe that the left is aware of this, that if you send everyone out to vote, the majority of those voters who are uninformed will tend to vote left. That would be why the celebrities in schools are pushing this, as they would be considered left. I truly believe you have to be educated and well-informed to be a conservative, which is why the left can pounce on the unexpected, uninformed voters to put more votes in their pile. This could also be the reason it seems elections have become more difficult than they need to be. The need to make sure everyone has a chance to vote just opens up all of these extra variables that aren't needed. Early voting would not be needed if only the people who were truly motivated to vote wanted to vote. Hope this helps you grab hold of the thought you have been struggling with, Rick from Stacy. It does, Rick, and I appreciate it. And it leads me to some deep thoughts and theories.
Garage Logic Service Road of Life?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
The failed academy is so successful.
How successful is it?
That they've continued to dump out into the population morons who have no earthly idea what they're voting for. To make it, let's put it in different words, too many people are voting, which is entirely their right, and I'm not suggesting anything otherwise. Too many people are voting who have no horse in the race. Too many people are voting who have no invested stake.
They're checking a box, even though they have zero idea what that candidate stands for, and they have zero idea what the incumbent has been guilty of.
70% of the voters in Hennepin County voted for Tim Walz. Okay. And 72% of the voters in Ramsey County voted for Tim Walz. Those are the two counties where you're most closest to the country's tallest buildings. I would love to see a statistical breakdown. I'm unaware that one exists. I would love to see a statistical breakdown of that 70% in Hennepin County and 72% in Ramsey County, their ages, if they're renters or homeowners, if they have children, if they pay property taxes. And again, I'm not advocating or suggesting anything. I'm merely suggesting that the products of the failed academy have been expertly trained. And I'd like to see in the statistical breakdown how many rely on public transportation, how many are bicyclists, because how else could you ignore what this country's been through the last 2 years?
Well, that's the part that was just baffling to me, because I was up late watching election coverage, like I'm sure you guys were as well, because I was watching the Fox 9 coverage because they stayed pretty much local the whole time. And they called the race at about, 10:25 or so, the governor race.
Yeah, it was called early. Yep.
It was called early. And then you look at the overall map, and Walz basically won the two counties, and Jensen had zero chance to catch up.
No, and I don't think any of that's surprising.
No.
When you put all of these variables into place, you've got a failed academy. You've got younger and younger people who have no vested interest in basically the economy.